Well, now, college is over, and here comes...
not really big in
Part 1. More. Hold on for a second. Yeah, you can hear the echo. Check it out. sounds like Michael Jordan. That's from Master Bits. That's a so-called black man. That's rapping. So-called black man. Actually, put brother. Okay, okay, I'm going to share screen. Let's do this right now. All right. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which article I'm going to pick? It's this article. Carlito fulfills WWE passer after Rtruth stunned. WWE is letting another longtime performer walk away from the company. The wrestling world was shaken up Sunday when the news broke that Rtruth was not getting his contract renewed by WWE. Same thing with Carlito. And the 17-year veteran wrestler ain't known now as Carlito was the latest victim of WWE's roster trending. My contract is up in 2 weeks. It will not renew. We already know I talked about this part one. It was in a racist way. Khalifa posted to X Sunday evening. hmm Yeah, we didn't see Carlito. Yeah, what was it? 2 days ago. Yesterday was Tuesday. Carlito announced WWE will now renew his contract, and he's leaving the company in 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, they let Carlito go. Carlito made his WWE 2004 when he defeated Johnson for the United States champion. He has to be a so-called black man that debuted and beat John Cena for the United States champion after he debuted in the ring. And he used John Cena's chain to hit him behind. And that's when John Cena got stabbed in the kidney at the After Hours Club. And then he stuck around at WWE until 2010 before mainly returning to WWC, where he began his career in 1999 and made into WWE appearances throughout the years. In 2023, he resigned with WWE full time, where he's currently comedic release for the Judgment Day. Yeah, comedic release. But it wasn't enough. He was being underappreciated. Grew and has made one televised match in 2025. That was the dark match that I was talking about when I was at the laundromat on Monday, washing and drying my clothes before I put my clothes in the dryer. When he participated in the Andre Giant Memorial Battle, Galita poked some fun at himself for his limited WWE action over the past few years. You see, this is I told you this on Monday. This always fucking happens to us. We get limited TV time. Always be so-called black people than different ethnic groups that's outside the black race. I discussed this on Monday. On top of that, WWE is the man I paid the money they paid for me, apparently stealing money from the company he drove. He been a victim. And you know they can be racist of payment when it comes to wrestlers, especially the American Negroes. I have my lawyers into it, and after reviewing my footage on Netflix for the past months, they just paid them back the money. Well, you did. All jokes aside, Garcia's WWE, especially the WWE Universe Carlito added, I love you very much. Yep, he did say this. He was being held back. You know, I said part one promises are not promises. They cannot be kept, but they always be broken. You can government guys having the so-called black wrestlers. And I remember saying about a legend still, and I think I did talk about part one, if I can recall, that they want him retired. So they not signing no legends deal. Neither one of them signing no legends deal. That's how racist WWE is. They'd always be the great white hope, like a Stone Cold, like a Hulk Hogan, like an Undertaker, like Kane. That's four examples that get the legends contract. And even Ken Samrock is blackballed. And this to the United States Championship he won in 2004. Carlito won the Intercontinental Champion when he got drafted to the wall. He beat Shelton Fisher. The WWE Tag Team Championships and the World Tag Team Championship across his career. The same with Rtruth. It's the same thing. They was contenders. Carlito, the Elimination Chamber, Rtruth Capital Punishment. 2006 to 2011. Never climbed that brass ceiling. They were like mid carders, the high tire to the mid tire to the low tire. And you know what happens to the low tire and the jobber? They mostly be losing match after match. It always be us so-called black wrestlers, especially the American Negroes, so-called African Americans. So this is his accomplished. Outside of WWE, Carlito just won the Puerto Rican Championship in WWC over the weekend where he defeated Ray Gonzalez during the WWC Summer Madness event. The 46-year-old Puerto Rican star will now continue his career in WWC moving forward. Continue to be in WWC, alright? Because he got like a big push over there. He got a big opportunity. Unlike WWE. Like I said, part one, Rtruth was the only first African American that won the NWA TNA champion, World Heavyweight Championship. The character, racist, did with it. I wasn't feeling it. I was against it. They won. Dementia. I was against it. I was against Rtruth. I want the one Rtruth / Trick. I remember saying this on thought. I want that character, not no dealing with it. Dementia. And it was in a racist way. And they always like stereotypes that we have speech impediments, slur, and grammar disorder. I seen this. I was in special education. Special education is highly racist. That shit ain't going nowhere. I know how racist special education can be. Special education is stereotypical when it always comes to so-called blacks and Latinos. I'm telling you what I know. That's when Scully Kundar, James on a second, and Dominic Sterling and I. That is unless he makes a surprise return to the East sometime down the road, just like the last time he parted ways with the company. Second time, I'm going to say this part one. I will reappear in another 13 years. Khalida concluded his exploits. God bless you. I think that's not going to happen because it's going to be the same thing. You're going to be stuck in the mid card. You will never get the special treat. Those so-called black people never get the like up to a main event in a specialty. You don't see too many so-called black wrestlers with legend stills like a Kakanoid, Gentile Yakubian, Pecker Tom. I'm telling you what I freaking know. I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm telling you how WWE, AEW, TNA Ring of Honor, and I heard WWE will buy New Japan Pro Wrestling. And they got some WWE talent like Darren Young. Because Darren Young ain't coming back to the WWE. Darren Young was mostly was on the low mid carder and the jobber. JTG, Orlando Jordan, even though Darren Young had won the tag team titles with Titus O'Neil and Orlando won the United States champion, but they were still down on the bottom. There's more. Shad Titus too. Uh-huh. Fensora. But he was a contender for the WWE Championship. Come on now. Uh Farouk, Godfather, D'Lo Brown. I mean, Mark Henry was up to an upper mid Carter. He was a main event in WCW. There never been main event. He was the contender. Him and Army Johnson to go against the Undertaker for the WWF Championship. They should have won. We could have had. It doesn't really matter. The first two American Negroes that won the WWE Championship. Do you know there's no American Negro that never won the WWE Championship, but the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? How many American Negroes that hold the WWE Championship? Zero. Zero. But you got four so-called black wrestlers that's not American, like Rock, Kofi, Big E, and Bobby Lashley. Kofi is a Ghanaian. Okay. Bobby Lashley is a Panamanian. Big E is a Jamaican and humanitarian. Rock, he's is a so-called African Canadian and Samoan. But Rock's father is not African American allegedly. He is really from up north in Nova Scotia. That's in Canada. So Rocky Johnson is no American Negro. He's no so-called African American. America has been built by so-called black people. Before it was America, same thing with all the other countries. Egypt is America. Come on, next to Akiba line. And allegedly, Akiba line could be America before it was America. Okay, well, that's about it. But we're gonna get into because I'm going to throw Kofi and Byron. Okay, news. WWE wasn't pleased that R-Truth. Look it up. WWE was pleased with talent wearing R-Truth slash carlito gear on Raw. Backstage tension reportedly brewing with WWE regarding R-Truth's current status, and as a report claims, the company was not pleased with talent wearing his merchandise during the June 2nd, 2025 episode Friday Night Raw. While WWE has forbidden similar actions from the past, especially when a superstar is injured or leaving a company, this situation is handled democratically. I did not even know that. Okay. 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 So we had seen it before, which is true. Someone gets hurt in the way out and kind of like sticking a ear or wear a t-shirt. One source told Wesley was reported to W still wearing a carlito. That's not t-shirt. They were to say it showed the report as, but not agreeing they did not want anyone wearing all two shirts on Monday night. The spectacle last the record, but Ruby posted a photo, and I heard about this too. So to social media the day after Raw probably wear an R-Truth t-shirt. Susie had solitary following reports of his release. Two, there was no official on-air mention of R-Truth during broadcast. I think they've been told not to mention R-Truth and Carlito. The live fed voice strong support interrupted into the and I heard about this too. We want true chats throughout the night. That's what they want. But truth. had the dimension and then with a character that wasn't a what was it a a goodbye or release. They should have a R2 tribute and a Carlito tribute, R2 to Carlito tribute, but that never had happened. And I know they freaking racist. We had a Eddie Guerrero over Hart. We didn't have no Shaq Gasper tribute. We didn't have that. Yes, repeatedly reported here on EW, the contracts for both R-Truth and Carlito are set to expire in the near future, and that's what happened. That's what had freaking happened. So they didn't like it. They've been told any merchandise of R-Truth and Carlito is not around in the WWE premises because they got released and they were being held back and never won the big goal. They never did. R-Truth has his music career. Carlito is working at his father's wrestling bullshit, being a superstar that he was in WWE. The music career, and we so Triple H picked R-Truth Carlito for their exit. R-Truth Chance dominated WWE Raw after Stars exit. Prairie Qualls reacts to Carlito R-Truth's WWE departure. This past, we already know R-Truth and Carlito has been released. This is what Curry Calls I said. I'm not going to read all of this because it's the same thing. But a heartfelt statement urging fans to continue to support the duo outside WWE. Hey everybody, I have tons of great stories slash memories to share about Carlito and Truth, but I think it's more important to say this. Don't treat them like they're completely gone. If you haven't yet, follow them on all social media platforms and keep up with them. Our Juan Killings is writing and producing music. Lito Colon 279 just returned to Puerto Rico in a big way. Let them keep doing what they doing outside the WWE. Because WWE did not push them to the moon. Okay? It's always happened to us. We got something going on. We got outside fixers, but we being unappreciated and being second, third, and fourth class. But never been fourth class. Never, never, ever, 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 ever. We never made it to first class. They don't appreciate what we do outside of WWE. And we're not even the face of the WWE. Other wrestling moves in AEW, Shane Strickland, the first so-called African American that won the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And I think he's still underappreciated. And he's not the face of AEW. Both will continue performing. I bet both will be back on TV in no time. It's gonna be a different wrestling organization. And I can't wait to Truth to expose because he exposed WWE when he was at Impact Wrestling. And I remember I said what Truth said about Bruce Prichard and Jim Walls. They both racist crackers. That wrestling is a white man's sport. I think it's not a white man's sport. It's more than that. They hiding something. WWE is and other wrestling organizations that owned by a white establishment is hiding something. I think in my pedal clan that wrestling started out in a keeper line. It didn't start out with white folks. And I strongly believe that. But I gotta do some research. I want to perform this, but I still gotta do some research. Come on. I know they took wrestling from us. Wrestling did not start out with no Caucasian man. There is no way. It had to be so-called black people because we had all the fighting styles before other races came along. Martial arts started a keep a line where the same people were at. Asiatic. Mm-mm-mm. Rtruth chance dominant WWE or after Stars exit. We already know contract will not get removed. I may not read some of it because it's the same thing, something similar. But I'll probably, because I already know it was a decision. Roster changes, ongoing changes to make room for fresh talent from NXT. I don't buy that whatsoever. But the new names joining the main roster of the company has outed not to remove the contract of some older or less unionized talent, Rtruth being one of them. Ace has nothing to do with it. They always release us in a racial way. Look what happened at ACH, where he exposed them. That shirt looks like blackface, a characteristic that's heavily and to the extreme offense so-called black people. Blackface red lips. I discussed about this years ago. That shirt is racist. And Carl Winslow, and I said this before, and I put you in your place. And anyone that's like Carl Winslow, because there are some Carl Winslows in, in the wrestling community. All right, they ain't no Uncle Phil's, but they in the uh, King James community because he did workly a high profile program with John Cena, and Rtruth was using John Cena's moves. I did talk about that the rest of the races. I did discuss about that part one. Yeah, Rtruth if a real superstar Carlito will likely make a comeback on the independent scene. But Rtruth, when he either Impact Wrestling or in the independent scene, he's gonna be himself again. He ain't gonna be like little Jimmy. Oh my bad. Uh, what's your name again? I'm part of the Judgment Day. Come on, man. Oh, Miz made a mistake. Make bad, but I tell some sense. Oh, I beat some hustle, loyalty, respect out of John Cena because John Cena is my childhood hero. We ain't gonna see that once he be in the independence. He's gonna expose WWE. He did it before when he was in Impact Wrestling. R-Truth's legacy in WWE will always remain is continue to be a major part of the company's history. R-Truth didn't have a big legacy like a racist Stone Cold and a racist Hulk Hogan. When I mentioned them, I forgot to put the word racist because they were both racist. Um, John Cena racist, yeah. Triple H racist, yeah. Triple H is of the fifth big man of a white supremacist 32nd Master Mason. I'm just kidding it a buck. Okay. R-Truth and Alito's early releases update on Raw. A couple of updates on early departure R-Truth with Alito Door tonight's June 2nd episode Raw in Tulsa, Oklahoma. About the night 30 match they were multiple instances of chats. Yeah, we want truth. Yeah, we want truth. We want R-Truth or what's up. The chance seemed to be pretty much he, but he returned It was like the early years of his second. He said, "What's up?" Bobby said, "Leaving the competition. The truth shall set you free." And he used to have another gimmick called Pretty Ricky, but that was a dim-witted dementia character. That was Rtruth's alternative ego. And also another chat, where's Carlito chat? They were also a smaller Carlito chat doing a match between Jasper Day and Raquel, my tall boo. You know I love my tall women, you know. And Cosby saying on WWE's part, they were no outright reference to their recovery to the show. Wow. WWE is cold. I'm telling you, man, I can watch the show, but I have to be aware. They are freaking cold. And I heard about them wearing their merchandise when I read the first article, when I read the second article. Dominic Mysterio did wear a Carlito shirt during his backstage segment. Yeah, Judgment Day closeout, and the crowd did not have a PS5 in this week. It will be up here Carlito taking that with him. So storyline, Carlito took the PS5 in storyline. However, other fans chanting for Truth if Dominic was wearing a Carlito shirt. There was no other mention of them during the show. Yeah, that's they code. Even in Judgment Day 7, Carlito simply wasn't there with no explanation for his action. I already saw the angle 2 days ago. Carlito wasn't there because WWE will release him along with Rtruth. Earlier today, Sarah Logan, I was on that social media thing. Yeah. I ain't gonna get to Sarah Logan. I ain't gonna get to the Miz because they don't have nothing to do with this topic. I heard of the Miz had removed the WWE logo, and I already know Miz Kent is also a racist, undercover racist, because there are types of racists of the cockanoid and also not cockanoid when it comes to against so-called black people. Like there are types of colorists. There's levels to racism and colorism. Yeah, WWE would not didn't want Thomas to wear orange with the Carlito shirt or orange with the league already. E C Juan Cena. Yeah, I uh-huh. Okay. They will make an indie They will make a comeback in the independent wrestling scene. Maybe House of Glory, Melon Championship Wrestling. Because this wasn't no joke at all. And it wasn't no prank and it wasn't no April Fools. Yeah, I already read this already on the third article. Mm-mm-mm. I can't play WWE video because I got blocked and I had to edit out when I did a video on dude. And that's gonna be tomorrow. It's not gonna be today. Do I want to buy some more time? Or that's it. Uh huh. Let's get to it. No, he coming back. We already know. And this is not the reason. We gotta wait for them to speak up. What's the real reason they got released? Oh, they want to get fresh talent or age. But it's in a racist, colorist way. I have to add colorism along with it. And being lots of color stuff. Like I said, I don't buy that. We already know they got released. You see the circle? Then Ricky Saints joined Raw SmackDown. But it's not gonna be right away. That's if he joins in, that's way too fast. It needs time. Just give it like a couple of months or a year. That's too fast. Okay. When you make additions to a roster, you have make surprise. I was surprised with Carlito in the sense he's in Judgment. They have regular TV time. Rtruth, not so much because he's been around a long time. I think a lot of people were surprised when you really look at it between the age. Age don't have nothing to do with it. They can't have them higher positions behind closed doors. Them races, right? Former wrestlers had those higher positions that are so-called black men, so-called black men, so-called black women, so-called black women cannot even get. Either it's the ambassador, the commentator, interview commentator, Karen, or maybe a writer. I didn't say writer part one. And I think they don't want those so-called black wrestlers to have retirement matches or no farewell. But if it's them, you know what? They get it like a thing or Edge, and they in AEW. See, Triple H said he don't see color, but he see talent, red flag, and he also represents the Aryan Brotherhood. Even though he's a Mason, he's a master Mason. 30 seconds, just like Vince McMahon, and all those cockanoid wrestlers. And you got so-called black wrestlers, and the, could be a Boulay Prince Hall. Tyler O'Neill is either Boulay or Prince Hall because he was in a fraternity. Shad too. And I ain't hear Titus O'Neill speaking for All Truth and Carlito and other so-called black wrestlers. Why did not say this on part one? Why am I saying this on part two? I don't hear a lot of so-called black wrestlers in the WWE speaking for them. Every time a so-called black wrestlers, and not only that, also so-called black staff that used to be wrestlers and referees and stuff, never spoke out for each other when they get released. I don't see that too much. I wonder why that is. Why Tyler O'Neill didn't speak for Darren Young's release? Why JTG never speak on Shaz release. Am I tripping? Am I making a mistake? Because if I did, correct me. And where were the so-called black wrestlers at? There were something. It wasn't in WWE. I'm just talking about WWE. That's what I'm talking about. That speak about their release and the racism in WWE. Oh, remember Titus? If it is hashtag for the culture, you went against Jordan Miles, Booker T. Why my name brought up? I don't have nothing to do with it. The coon that he is. Because y'all dealt with racists, both Booker and Titus and Spurs Strickland. Mm-mm-mm. Alicia Fox. Um, what's, I think it's a Kaden Carter. It's Kaden Carter, so-called black woman. What about Jakara? Come on. Can I say more? And we're gonna get to the darkness. Because I will come into a spiritual level on this. There's so many levels of being a good spiritual person. If you open up your third eye slash your pineal gland, because I'm gonna get to some spiritual stuff. And I have to throw Kofi and Byron, not just Rtruth. I don't know if I'm gonna talk about it now or keep going on an auto. Maybe I can keep going on an auto because it's gonna be the same thing. I gotta wait for the real reason. And I remember Rtruth when came and I think with the Elimination Chamber, and he thought he was in the match. Then when it did dementia, and they treated Rtruth and a racist race, and they so-called black wrestlers. But like I said, part one, Rtruth is better than that. He's way much better. And I already said to get that basis right paycheck. I did say it on part one. Do I want to go to the moves? Maybe carlito. I don't want to make. Maybe I can make a fair balance. Let me think about it. Well, uh, I'm gonna go on Wikipedia. I think I want to start out.
Got it.
Oh shoot!
Could you unlock your phone? I need to open.
Disregard. That was a Caucasian man, and I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, unlocking phone and blah blah blah. I don't know why I pressed that button by mistake. Well, the cracker said about how to unlock your phone. Okay, so Carlito win second one, and I said about the last match he had, and it was on March of 2025. Because I'm gonna break part one's record. That's right, I already did. Because it's an hour 10 and 31. An hour 10 and 30 something, 34 seconds. I already broke part one's record. And it could be the conclusion allegedly until we find more updates. Mm-mm. My mouth is close to being dry. I gotta give me something to drink. Yeah, then it was backlash. And I'm going to throw Carlito's name. Carlito and Rtruth, but it was mostly Rtruth. Mm-mm-mm. Wait, I'm misunderstanding. There were some so-called black people like J. Cardell and Homer. That was a misunderstanding. Their reaction, but never spoke up. But J. Cardell, that's my tall boo. J. Cardell is my tall boo. And me and her are about the same height. People watching. Wow, so that's it. 15 pages of articles. Okay, I'm gonna look at the moves. I'm gonna start out with Carlito. Dang, I left the R out. Because when Carlito got released, he went to International Independent Circuit in 2010. Then he returned to WWC in 2010 to 2020. Then second for a 4-year run, and that was a mediocre. They cannot touch his first one, but he didn't get no push. See, Carlito's finishing moves, backcracker slash backstabber, figure four lay or OVWs as a regular move in WWE, and further face lock spin out into a DDT 2005 to 2006, overdrive 2004. Back flick off the top or overstanding opponent, sometimes while springboarding drop kick, sometimes from the top row or while springboarding. Fireman's carry blackjack, holding DDT, Hurricane on a Japanese contract, lifting first STO monkey flip, one knee lift, followed by a running clothesline, snap, spring, and neckbreaker, springboard moonsault, sometimes while performing a double jump, springboard Santa ball, sometimes while performing a double springboard sit-out spine buster. Managers, Trish Stratus, Toriosa, Development, Brie Brother, Rosa Menendez, the nickname Caribbean Bat Apple, tag teams instead of the Colonel Latino World Order in the Judgment Day. And this is his interest music. Oreo, Barrio, Barbaria, Savage and Paulo sound. I don't know if I heard them. 1999 to 2003 WWC. Totally stand by Theodore Mommy of 2004 WWC. Proved by Jim Hess for WWE slash WWC. Burning to the ground. Neckbreaker 2010. His we all know his championships accomplished. Primary Wrestling Entertainment, FWE Heavyweight Champion one time. First Wrestling Society, one WS World Heavyweight Championship one time. Funky Constabulary FC Wisdom Championship one-time Marine Wrestling Federation MWF United Undisputed Championship, one-time Pro Wrestling Injury. PWI ranked him number 27 of the 500 best English wrestlers of the year in the PWI 500 2006 Puerto Rico Wrestling Tag Team of the Year 2008 with Primo Wrestling Alliance Revolution World Heavyweight Championship one time, World Wrestling Council, WWC Puerto Rico Heavyweight Championship one time, WWC Universal Heavyweight Championship 15 times, WWC World Heavyweight Tag Team Championships two times with Eddie Polan and Cannon, World, World Wrestling Entertainment, all one time. Intercontinental Championship, United States Championship, Tag Team Championship, and Tag Team Championship with his younger brother Primo, the Razor. Uh-huh. Razor, location that take notes. Cody Kamat and Ray Gonzalez. Thunder and Lightning matches. Ray Gonzalez, Ray Venus match. It was number one. So it was a hair match and a mask match. It all took place in Beaumont, Puerto Rico. We faced WWC Anniversary of 39, WWC Lockout, WWC Crossfight, WWC Live Event, July 1st, 2012, December 9th, 2012, November 16th, 2013, March 30th, 2014. He was a superstar in, in Puerto Rico with WWC in Puerto Rico wrestling. I forgot the name just that quick. Let's get into Rtruth. Shall we? Rtruth Wikipedia. Okay. There's Carlito. It's 46. Rtruth is like 50. He's 53 years old. Because when he left, we're going to skip all this. Because he got sus. After both dogs were suspended in December, officially released on January 2016, 2022, became a singles competitor, but down on the card. But it was mainstay on Jack. Even though he took part in the 2001 Rumble that run by Big Show, and he was in hardcore division. And I already said about the 24/7 title. And he resigned. I'm not looking for WWE Wikipedia because he was an independent wrestler in 1997, and he was the developmental 99, and he was the main roster in 2002, and that released in 2001. That was the first one. Then he went Extreme Pro Wrestling in 2002. Then went to TNA Action Wrestling. Uh huh. You were with the Three Life Crew with Bulldog and Kane, and I remember that because I used to read the PWI Wrestling magazine years ago when I was in middle school. Because he returned to WWE 2008 to 2005. They count the years just like Carlito in part one. 2008, Heroes on Thursdays. See, that's what it all started with the mental angry so-called black men because they always depict us. They always do these gimmicks against us in a stereotypical fashion. Tag debut with Kofi, 2012. I don't like the same thing on the Black and Perfect or using alliances. Because he was a head of state in 2003 as himself, the rest like the same thing himself. Was going to be injured in 2001, but so 2003 Can't Stop Me in 2000, 2007. And his moves, he should have continued using that. Consequences, elevated cradle neck breaker, TNA 2002 2004. Little Jimmy was subjected to the first ST of 2011 to present. He did use, he should continue to use a move instead of John Cena. Anytime for, he did use those moves, but they want him to do all John Cena's for anytime 450 each class, TNA 2002, the winter life attack. Later, said something like a TNA champion first to fight. Uh, Smash, Truth Confession, set out first. Suplex that team and hitting the 2000 used as a rubber move, 2002 to 2007. Seriously, back to back, well, real brown face for the plus two chocolate back into back face. Working three slash front, powered by German suplex. Got them feel kick is Gary Hurricane one sometimes from the top rope. First as people, running or a driving leg drop. Sit down double underhook face buster. Sit hit toss, sit out slam, suplex for a triple complicated. Local suplex drop into either a stunner or a cutter TNA with BG James. The needle leg drop, flying leg drop to the ground. The nickname the truth, the Sita Superman, the cosmetic one, Vassal upon by past the conspiracy theories, man, for each other, Parker doesn't come out. He managed to offset her, had team savers with Road Dog Cannon, Levi Cruz, and all, yeah, with BG saying, oh yeah, Billy Gunn. I, yeah, four live crew, A Crew and Bulldog, Kofi Casey Rtruth, Lee Legion, excellent and insistent, yeah, and say Triple A awesome tribute. The Nash twice, the Triple Father with Xavier with the Gorgeous Truth with Tyler Reese and the Golden Truth with Gold Dust. World Wrestling Federation slash World Wrestling Team has paid anybody by Gerard James and Ron Kelly, WWE body by Ron Kelly. WWF has all two What's Up Remix by Ron Kelly, WWE, July 25th, 2008 to August 23rd, 2010, December 2010 to April 11th, 2009. Why Type to Get It From by Ron Kelly's WWE, September 13th, 2010 to December 2002. The Truth Has Set Me Free by Ron Kelly, WWE, May 16, 2011. The Truth Has Set You Free by Ron Kelly, WWE, May 23rd, 2011 to August 14, 2011, Little Jimmy by Johnson Smith, WWE, SOS by Johnson Smith and Carly Buzz the Kofi Kingston here to show the world with Downstripe and Draw Stickler, Total Nonstop Wrestling, it's a Triple A. What's up? Let me swallow my spit. Told up by Pitbull, he's back produced by Dale Oliver TNA Views while teaming up with Adam Jones. That was a tag team with Adam Jones, but they ain't had the tag team titles that long. I watched it back in 2007 when TNA was on Spike. So, what time is it? 5:53. I'll be right back. I'm back. I have to use the restroom. Okay. And do you know Rtruth was shocked at Jordan when he was wearing the Confederate suit with a black hat and all gray? Red flags. You should have had continue of using your own moves instead of using John Cena's. Yeah. Uh, quarter to seven, because I'm doing a live stream. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm a YouTuber. Got it. No, I get it. Yeah. No, I get it. All right. Come on. Like, what I gotta do? I understand that. Oh, okay. Okay. What time is it? 5:57. Okay. Father's Wrestling Federation ESWF Championship one time with this championship wrestling. That's where WWF had their development in back in the early 2000s for OVW. Two times NWA Wildlife Television Championship one time. Total Nonstop Action Wrestling NWA World Heavyweight Champion two times, NWA World Tag Team Champion two times with BCJs and Konak as the Three Live Crew, TNA World Tag Team Championship one time with Adam Jones. Okay, finally World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE United States Championship two times, WWE 24/7 Championship 53 times, not 52. That was a mistake. They did not acknowledge it whatsoever. WWE Tag Team Champions as WWE Raw Tag Team Champions two times with Kofi Kingston one and the Miz one time. WWF Hardcore Championship two times. Savvy Award for LOL Moment of the Year 2015. So that's about it. We're gonna get to the dark stuff. I'm gonna start with You Are Truth. Friend started killing. I had to decode this. She died. No, I can't say that no more. She's either in the dimension or she got reincarnated. I gotta take the word die, like so cold die. 7 year battle with cancer. Fresh cattle killing. Sister of WWE Superstar War Archer Killings has passed away. WWE is a big face cutlery to Blood and his family. I'm very kind of suspicious, but you never work your way up. I'm gonna ask you a question like I want to ask Byron and Kofi. Do you do it to make a bargain? If this is suspicious. Let me look her name up to Jamatra. Our truth had sacrificed his sister, but he never got the big push or never got blew up like a Caucasian man. This is who he's with. He's with a Caucasian. Dang, I don't see it. Oh, truth. WWE has something to do with it. And I feel the same way. Kofi is next. He made deals with the doctors because the doctors knew who he was. And they also made a deal with WWE so you can um, keep your fame and your fortune and your success. But it's kind of funny never freaking blow up. You still down the bottom. And I want to know if like Kofi and Byron are y'all Press Hall or Boulay. Okay, world class wrestling legend Kofi Kingston's sister. I know you had something to do with it. You must have blew up in Rtruth ever since the New Day and the 30-second White Master Mason, and, and you had agreed to something. Like, if you want to have the New Day, don't. If you want to have the New Day continue, um, do what they do, or keep having segments and angles. If you want to keep the faction long, you got to do something for me. And the Baphomet. Remember, Vince McMahon is a member of the Skrulls. The Cross and Skull Bones, the Cross and Skull Bones, and um, a Freemason skulls and bone skulls and crossbones. You gotta remember that because he wants you to make the deal with the Farsian bargain with the Baphomet. Come on, I see WWE symbolism. WWE is the Illuminati. So she was reported Boston, Massachusetts on March 24th, 2015. She was 25 years old and was the younger sibling and only sister of the world famous professional wrestler Kofi Kingston, known in private life as Kofi Sword Cody Messiah. She was born in September 27, 1909 in New Orleans, Louisiana, to Dr. Arthur Sword Cody Messiah. It's Russian Lethal Library, Marriott College, North Andover, Massachusetts. I ain't gonna read all this, but she was school this at Detmar campus of University of Massachusetts, and she successfully completed the Riley Remont rigorous boot camp exercise. She was set to begin an MBA program, hospitality management, at the Johnson and Wales University, Providence, Rhode Island, in June this year. So she was a multi-talent analyst, painter, moralist, social community activist, and she had passion for welfare animals, probably a great variety of canine breeds. Nana Inca Sotori Masa attended a high grade nursery school in Dosman, Upper Ghana, and the Lord's Academy of Woodbar. So she attended Lansing Fox Hill Elementary School in Westchester and Burlington, all in Massachusetts. She will also attend the Marshall Middle School in Burlington, Massachusetts, and Malden High School in Malden, Massachusetts, where she graduated in 2008. Those who knew Nana, she was family, supportive, well, kind hearted, and pleases told you, and they call her Kyle, superheaded fundraiser for the urban homeless and campaign drive aims reducing the costs of textbooks must give poorly offer her tax fare to homeless men who call her mother pick up from Boston to their suburban home considerable distance away. Was other parties involved? Was University of Massachusetts? Because you attended the college, the same college with your sister. Because you cannot be the only one that made that sacrifice. University of Massachusetts. And you know they dealt with Freemasonry in the skulls and bones and skulls and crossbones. And they really have ties with your university, the skulls and bones, skulls and crossbones. Kind of skeptical. That's why New Day had a long run. You have to make an offering. And also, University of Massachusetts, it's something else. Like, I can't think of that something else. They did an offering. I think it's money. If the revenue, if, if they revenues continue, to continue their revenue and continue that, they made an offering. But they took part of it as well. Man, Kofi and University of Massachusetts, I don't know if Kofi benefited the most. I think he did. That's why the New Day have won the tag team titles 12 times. Damn, Kofi, you sacrificed your youngest sister to keep the New Day going. And they supposed to split up last year. Mm-mm-mm. Wow, Kofi, what do you freaking do? Mm-mm-mm. When she is a beautiful Nubian queen. Mm-mm. Why, Kofi? Why? I see this article years ago before my pineal glands started to open. Mm-mm-mm. So her so-called death is suspicious. You lucky you got Nubian Queen, because Rtruth got him a snow bunny. If something will happen to Rtruth, and I said this on part one, Byron's father was a military vet, and Byron Saxon did not freaking blow up because he gets picked on. Because I already know Byron Saxon's father passes away, so called. Have you made a freaking offering? His name is Walter Kelly Jr. Our true sacrifice, Francesca, Kofi sacrificed Nana. And I wonder if you sacrificed your father, Walter Kelly Jr. Because you did not blow up. There's no way. Or, I never thought of it, or to keep your job in the WWE longer because you are an important asset to the white establishment brand. WWE commentator Byron Saxton shared some devastating news on Twitter today. Saxton posted that his father, Walter Kelly Jr., passed away. In his post, Saxon wrote in the Marine Corps Master Sergeant Loving Husband and My Dad and Hero. Walter Kelly Jr. 1937 to 2019. He also shared 2 photos. So, so if you're going to continue to keep your position, you gotta um, collect. And this is what you did allegedly. Damn, Byron. If you did do it, because I was saying at first that the 32nd white supremacist Master Mason, Fitz McMahon, was behind it. That could be true. Damn, Byron. So you didn't want to lose the job. If you want to keep as a commentator and a commentating viewer, you have to make that offering. And you pick your dad. Wow, Byron. And you were across. Byron, I think Byron, he gotta be a Freemason. And I used to support Byron and want Byron to win the WWE Championship when I was in the Facebook group called the Smoke Light. This is suspicious. You have to decode things, people. So I'm about to take my leave. I'm out of here. Tomorrow I'm gonna do a person team. Power to the people. I'm out. Later.
Let's go.
With a great idea, you just want to get things down on paper. Grammarly is the second set of eyes that helps me get work done.